Hello everybody, welcome to Las Cruces, New Mexico, and coming up next we have a game against New Mexico State. It's 1-7 Old Dominion against 2-5 New Mexico State, two of the lowliest teams in the country right now. New Mexico State boasts one of the lowest ranked defenses, so we'll see how this goes. Check out their top players before we head into action coming up next. And here we are. Doesn't look like a very packed house because neither team is really doing well this season. And Old Dominion did lose bowl eligibility with their loss to Pittsburgh, though we weren't really expecting that this season. But Tyree Lee, the player to watch today, because in his first 6 games of the season, he ran for 403 yards and 3 touchdowns. But in just the last 2 games, he has 363 yards and 2 touchdowns. That's only 2 games compared to his first 6 games, and he is the nation's 4th leading rusher at this point in the season. So very, very good performances as of late from Tyree Lee, and Blair Roberts comes on a little middle screen for 11 yards. Old Dominion hoping to pull off their 2nd win of the season at a very weak New Mexico State team. And they would be held to 4th and 1 Old Dominion and would just come up short on the field goal, just a little bit. Couldn't quite put it through from 48 yards out, but Maryland completely blows away Clemson and gives Clemson their first loss, a big upset there. Of course, Maryland, a team Old Dominion played earlier in the season. And Old Dominion has played a number of ACC teams this year, but Paris Scoggins on a little quick reception there, and big hit laid on Austin Franklin, but he somehow gets right back up after that. That's pretty amazing for him. And Jeremy Merson going to be stopped for a couple yards loss on the play. Great defense by our linebacking core. 3rd and 9, Trayvon Colwell back to pass, and I don't know where he's throwing that one, but it goes right into the ground, and it is a stalled drive for the Aggies, and Blair Roberts comes up with another reception. He's got 30 yards receiving in this first quarter already, leading the way. 1st and 10 now. Heineke in a little play action finds Connor Martin, the freshman tight end. Yes, he's a freshman, and he's having a very solid season, which means his future is very bright here at Old Dominion. Larry Pinkard comes on a little slant pattern, and he is gone. 31 yards for the touchdown. Nobody's going to catch him. That was beautifully run by Old Dominion. The Old Dominion defense is sporting a little bit different look coming into this game. They're running a more multiple defense rather than 3-4. They do still have a few 3-4 formations, but the multiple defense features many different formations, and will be led by sophomore middle linebacker Caleb Taylor, coming into this game with 44 tackles, 3 sacks, and an interception. And speaking of sacks, Trayvon Colwell sacked by Julian Randolph, the Old Dominion's leading sack man, and this one nearly picked off by John Darr. A great linebacker there, aiding Caleb Taylor. John Darr and Caleb Taylor, 2 very solid linebackers heading this defense. And Reggie Owens nearly picks that one off. Great defense, and it looks like maybe things are coming together running that multiple defense. But it is New Mexico State, so we do have to take things with a grain of salt, as they are really not that great. But nonetheless, things are looking better. And Tyree Lee, a 16-yard rush. Feel good about that. He's just been really hot as of late, and hard to stop. And Connor Martin right over the middle. Nobody's catching this guy. Coverage seems to be busted from New Mexico State, as they are one of the lowest-ranked defenses in the country, as I said earlier. And it is showing. Heineke back to pass and does not see the linebacker there. Kind of gets a little tunnel vision and fails to see him. So we do settle for a field goal late in the 2nd quarter. Under 2 minutes to go. Trayvon Colwell back to pass, has all day, and he's going to find his man underneath for 5 yards. It'll be 2nd and 5. Colwell goes again, and this time the ball kind of floats over the middle, and he was forced into making a bad pass there. And Jeremy Morrison on the handoff. Good call there. 14-yard gain. And now time is ticking, just about a minute 10 to go. Colwell on an option. He gets stuffed before he can go anywhere. 2-yard loss on the play. Great defense, and we go into the half 10-0. Old Dominion leading this one in New Mexico.
We've played 30 minutes. Glad to have you with us on the EA Sports NCAA Football 14 halftime show presented by Nissan. Innovation that excites. David Pollack and I here in the studio to break down everything that just happened in your game. So far, so good for both offenses in terms of taking care of the football, but now the defenses are ramping up the sense of urgency in terms of trying to get the ball back for their offense.
Absolutely. And you got to find Reese. These ball hawks on defense, they need to find the football. They need to make some big plays, create some turnovers. How about using that hit stick a little bit? How about knocking somebody silly and making them drop the football? I mean, defense's #1 priority is trying to turn the football over, trying to make a big explosive play for your offense so they can do more damage and they can take the ball down the field. So those ball hawks need to show themselves in the second half.
Just about time to start the second half. What do you think Herbstreit's first point of analysis will be?
I don't know, something to do with quarterback play, I'm sure. I mean, we always got to hear that stuff all the time. It's all about the quarterbacks.
Brad and Kirk ready for the second half.
All right, we are back, and the defense so far only giving up 71 yards of offense from New Mexico State, and that's the story of the first half, as maybe the switch in defensive schemes is proving to be a difference maker. We'll see how it goes for Old Dominion later on when we play better offenses, but for now, things are looking much better, and there the defense holds, forces New Mexico State to punt it away, and it's back to Old Dominion here. Antonio Vaughn found on a little short pass, and he takes it for 12 yards. Beautifully run play. Tyree Lee's going to cut it back to the left side and get about 5 yards. And he is having another solid day for himself. 3rd and 2, run a little play action is working very well for Old Dominion so far. And Antonio Vaughn had this one in and out of his hands. He gets Butterfingers, obviously his favorite candy bar. But we would pin New Mexico State at their own 2-yard line with a great punt. And now it's going to force them to try and get out of that situation. Backs against the wall. 3rd and 4 for the Aggies. Colwell back to pass, and he's going to nearly have this one picked off. Reggie Owens having a good day in coverage so far. 4th and 4, of course, they would be forced to punt it away. Keenan Terry is our punt return man, and he muffs this one, runs in a circle, and loses it. That just happened. I have no words. That was one of the worst things I've ever seen in my life. I may be exaggerating, but that was one of the worst things I've ever seen in this game. Why would you run in a circle? I was telling him to go after the ball, and he just ran in a circle. But this play, we force Morrison to fumble the ball, and Julian Randolph is a ball freak. But it would be reviewed as to whether or not he fumbled this one. So we will take another look and see if Morrison's knee was down, and Morrison's knee was down. I can't even do this. Why am I even talking anymore? But the ruling on the field would be reversed, and it was determined that his knee was down. Was a good call. As much as I hate it, it was legitimate. So there you go, and they give it off to Brandon Betancourt, who does get stopped, and they are going to go for it on 4th and 3. Too long for a field goal, too short for a punt, and Colwell is going to get eaten alive here. He gets sacked, he fumbles it. It was complete disaster for him as the pocket completely collapsed on him, and he had no chance at surviving this one. And this was a legitimate fumble. No reviews this time because it was very clear as to what happened. So Old Dominion recovers, even though it didn't really matter because it would have been turnover on downs anyway. Look at Jaquel Bailey. What a catch he holds on after getting drilled in midair. Wow. What a catch. In 2nd and 10, David Washington, just a few plays later, is going to take this one, breaks a tackle, and he could go all the way. No, he gets caught on the ankles, but a 25-yard rush. That is his longest single rush of the season, as he's come in several times to do this already before. Look at Blair Roberts. Look at the great catches on this drive by Roberts, Bailey. They're all snagging the ball like crazy. And Tyree Lee gets the handoff on 1st and goal, stopped for a loss. Good defense by the Aggies, can't deny that. And we're going to see 3rd string running back C.J. Bradshaw come in, but he was held for no gain. So 3rd and goal at the start of the 4th quarter. Taylor Heineke rolls out. He finds Larry Pinkard for the 2nd time today. This time a 3-yard touchdown pass. And Heineke is having himself a very good day passing the ball. So 1st and 10 now. Colwell got to lead this Aggies offense and try and figure out something to get in this game, because the touchdown could still make it a game. We'll see how this goes. 2nd and 10. Colwell looking to throw, and it's picked off by Larry Alston, the linebacker, getting it done. That is New Mexico State's 2nd turnover of the day, and it is deadly. 2nd and 14 now. 6 minutes to go in the 4th quarter. Heineke back to pass. He's going to find Antonio Vaughn all by himself, untouched, and he is going to go. He has it at the 10, the 5. Can't quite get in the end zone, but he does set up a 1st and goal situation for Old Dominion, and it's Tyree Lee getting the handoff. He is stopped just short of the goal line. So 3rd and goal, David Washington comes in. Everybody should know what's going to be called on this play, but it's the give to Tyree Lee that gives the touchdown, and that's Lee's 10th touchdown of the season. He goes into double digits with that one, and he's having himself a fantastic season as the nation's 4th leading rusher in both yardage and touchdowns scored. So there you go. We would jump ahead to about 2 minutes to go when Old Dominion's playing a bunch of backup defenders, and New Mexico State does get on the board, so it won't be a shutout for the Old Dominion defense, and they do get a 2-point conversion. So the final would in fact be 24-8. Old Dominion comes away with a convincing win on the road, thanks to a great performance by Taylor Heineke, who had himself quite a game passing the ball. There you can check out only 43 rushing yards for New Mexico State, and they would be held to under 200 total yards of offense. So there you can see a great game for Old Dominion. Couldn't really find much to complain about in this one. It was a fantastic win. It was nice to get win number 2 on the season, and we jump ahead now. We've secured Anthony White, 81 overall kicker, and it's always good when you can get good kickers. And Brian Cook, a fullback, has also committed himself to Old Dominion. So recruiting has really turned nicely for Old Dominion here in the latter part of the season. So we could be looking at a bright future for this team, especially since we return a lot of starters next year on offense. And now we've filled all our needs in recruiting, so now we can kind of relax a little bit more. And then we did have a bye week in week 10, so not much happened except that Roshan Doherty did commit, the middle linebacker. But Jeremy Doherty, unrelated, committed to Virginia Tech, another middle linebacker. So there you go. Week 11 up next we have against 1-8 Idaho.